Hello everybody, welcome to my first YouTube video. Um, Glad to be here and just wanted to make an introductory video here. Um, so as an introduction, I'd like to explain kind of what I'd like to get out of this experience. Um, I've really gotten back into art. I've really discovered a lot about myself and about my identity. And I'm just here to really just share my experience. Hopefully, um, have you guys feel comfortable coming to a place where, I'm not highly professional. This is more of just my own self-interest in journey through this artistic world. Um, these videos will kind of explain my thought process. They're probably going to be around, 20 to 30 minutes long each session. I'll have to break these down into little bits here. But I'm glad that you guys chose to stick around and follow along on this journey. And I hope that you guys take some joy out of this and hopefully you can learn. I'm going to be posting basically everything that I do, whether it be good or bad. I'd like to get everything in so that you guys can kind of follow along and see where I go on this journey. So what I'm doing right now is a fun little project. My nephew Micah has some pretty good ideas, and he actually reached out to me. He's about 6 years old, and he reached out to me and asked if he could see an armored rhino. So I was very excited about that. I really wanted to jump into this, so I am going ahead and hopping right in here. So what I usually do is I will go ahead and just block in a simple shape. I see that a lot with conceptual art processes. This is also very true with traditional art as well. That's kind of where I come from, is a traditional art background. So painting like this is very comfortable for me. It helps me set up a good kind of backbone, a good foundation for my process. And again, I can kind of go into detail too later as to some of the shortcuts that I use, some of the key commands that I use if you're unfamiliar with Photoshop. But I'm glad that I can at least get this started and kind of show you guys just how I do this. So again, just kind of blocking in my shapes, starting with a very matte color. I'll kind of color pick in between my values to kind of help get the foundation down again, get some simple values. It's a bit sporadic, but hopefully you guys can take away from this. It's funny, recording this is my first video. I hope I get better at this and figure out all the kinks, but was kind of tricky learning these new processes and wasn't used to there's a little bit of a latency. Working on a Mac, as you can see, so I might switch over to my PC just to help speed up the process. Might have a better processor for that so that I can skip the latency and kind of the delays here. But yeah, so again, coming from an academic background, I'm very close to graduating from school here. I have going for illustration, and unfortunately, I feel like they gave me a really good basis, a really good sense of direction and fundamental tools. They didn't really set me up for professional fields, so that's kind of where I'm at in my life. My artistic journey is just kind of discovering myself, my artistic self, and really kind of pushing the boundaries of what I can create. I do a lot of traditional work as well, which I've been getting back into, kind of digging back into my roots as my artistic roots, but also my identity, going back to what I liked as a child, the processes that I used as a child. So going back to, basic paper and pencil. I think digital media is a great way to be expressive and to really get ideas down. And it's a lot of fun. I really do enjoy the digital process. It's a lot cleaner than breaking out oil paints, but it is limited to its um, in itself. I think each kind of media has its limitations, but I like the versatility that you can get out of Photoshop. And painting is very familiar, like I mentioned before. Coming from a painting background, it's very familiar to me. So as you can see, I'm kind of making some outlines here. Again, just kind of a part of my discovery process. Um, really trying to ground it, and at this point I feel like I have a good basis, so I'm really just kind of flushing out the details and finding out um, where everything's supposed to go. And yeah, just kind of filling in my values here, making sure I get kind of a good basis of value. As I go along, I might change up that process. I'm a scatterbrain, so these processes do look a bit weird. In hindsight, you'll see me kind of go back and forth, and I'll get distracted in a certain area or a certain part. I'll, get too excited and start working in details when I don't even have a foundation yet. So, again, all a part of the journey. I'm here for the ride. You're here for the ride. It's just fun. I really um, have taken a kin to my creative self, and it's good to finally come back and to rediscover myself as a creative. And again, point of this channel really, in essence, is for me. I'd like to keep a record of myself and how I work, and my mentality, my mental health, where I'm at in my life. It's a good reflection to come back to. And the past is a place of reference, and it shouldn't be a place of home. You shouldn't live in your past. I've tried to live by that. As an adoptee, I've had a lot of struggle with my identity. So discovering my identity as a creative, as an artistic person, I've really latched onto that, and I found a lot of comfort. It's an expressive field, so I feel like this medium can really branch out into other modes of creative expression, and that seems healthy to me. That seems like a good outlet for somebody who's struggled with identity and depression and anxiety, especially in an artistic field, a professional artistic field. The other reason why I really wanted to start this channel was to help fellow creatives. I really struggled with my sense of purpose in the creative field, and I slowly realized after rediscovering myself that you don't have to be a professional. You don't have to be. You can make a living off of this for sure, but it's not necessarily something that you have to do for other people. Again, this very much is an expressive outlet, a creative outlet for myself that I happen to just share with other people because, again, I'm hoping that other people can find some comfort in the fact that, not everybody in the artistic field is going to be the next Rembrandt or the next, insane concept artist or industrial artist. It's not for me. It's not about that. For me, again, it's just being able to express myself, to work on something that I feel like I'm fairly good at, and I'd like to get better at. But also, it's a way to connect to other people as well. This is very much you're seeing me. Not physically, obviously. You can't see me in the video, but again, this is gonna be this is what you're seeing. You're seeing a part of me, and I'm open and willing to share that with people. So back to the process, as you can see, I'm still kind of getting in some of the finer details. I'm getting distracted in the head. I think at one point here I did bring up a reference so that I could help really solidify the believability. Um, References. Funny story about references. I used to take pride in not using references. That shouldn't be a thing. For from my mentality, looking back, it was a prideful thing because I felt like if I didn't use references, it was more of a pure way of looking into my expressive self, and not using references. Oh, that takes so much skill, and um, you get notoriety for that. But you know coming to realization that studying from life is essential for your ability to create. Not only does it help build a really good sense of believability, but it can also help you learn. Once you have once you have a mental library, you don't have to use references anymore. But you have to get your references from somewhere. You do have to get your mental library from somewhere. And you can't just make it up as much as you think you can. I'm sure some people can, but for myself, I really do feel like references are important to me, and I had to kind of break away from that prideful. I don't use references because I'm too good for that. No, I need references. I need to study from life because what I enjoy creating comes from life, and if I don't use that, then what the heck am I doing? So again, pulling up references, really trying to push the believability. And again, this is going to be just part one of hopefully maybe a 4-part series. I am dubbing over this video right now. I did this video a little bit earlier. Still new to the whole video making process, so bear with me. I'm, again, new to this. It's a learning process. I'm learning so much. I have become a big fan of online learning. I think our technology and our ability to communicate is incredible, and I'm so happy to see people like Bobby Chu, Adam Duff, reaching back out into the community and giving back, and I think that's really special. I think we need a lot more of that. I've taken upon myself to really start, learning what I'd like to learn. So I've went to Domestika to learn how to do, to paint light and to learn about light. I've also learned how to, take some Blender courses and ZBrush courses, because I think that would be a valuable asset to my ability to create my own references. I am making a graphic novel, and I do have quite a bit involved with that. So again, I think having that ability to give myself references, to reference from those references, is going to be valuable. So I'm taking it upon myself to really kind of learn these processes and learn how to become more of an asset to myself, as well as possible employment. I didn't get these skills, unfortunately, from school. Again, I got a lot of the fundamentals, but they really didn't set me up for a heavy creative professional field. And I'm okay with that. I have the resources now. We all have the resources now that we can learn from other people and take mentorships and learn online using online courses. It's very easy to be able to reach out and obtain those things. Unfortunately, college education is incredibly expensive, and I had the fortunate position to have an education that I, in all honesty, didn't have to pay for. our state provided a program that my parents joined while I was still very young that was able to cover most, if not all, of my education. And so um, I don't want to let that go to waste. I think that having a professional education is valuable, and I'm not going to stand here and say that it's not. I took a lot out of my experience my at my college, and I'm gonna take that a little bit further. I'm just gonna be learning a bit more that I wasn't given um, at school. So um, yeah. So as you can see, again, just kind of working in the details, pulling from values already laid down into the piece. Um, I love. I work on a Mac, so if you press Alt or Option key in your brush tool, it actually flips to your color picker tool, and then when you lift off, it turns back into your brush, and it's a beautiful thing. I, you know, didn't know about that until I took my uh, digital painting class with a very lovely teacher named Damien. He was an incredible teacher. One thing I will say about the college that I went to is the teachers were incredible. Um, Most, if not all of them, went far beyond their professional requirements and really took the time to help and give us resources outside of their teaching to really help us develop the necessary skills that we wanted to pursue. And I think, you know, my professor in my digital painting class really cared about us and really cared about our education, and um, gave us all these great tools to help, you know, realize um, our own potential in being a creative. He's one of the bigger parts of why I decided to really pursue digital art. It was something that I was fairly comfortable in, but really didn't have a great grasp on. Um, but after that class, after I gained that kind of confidence from my professor, he that really boosted my my confidence in my abilities, and again, just really enjoy the process now. I really enjoy the having my identity back as a creative. So, kind of working on a composition. This is more of just a character study. It's a very simple painting. I will likely have a background, a very vague background, um, maybe not as flushed out. It might just be as simple as putting some shadow down just to give him some grounding. Maybe some texture in the back here just to give it some interest. But as of right now, yeah, I think it's a fairly good start. Again, this is going to be a two-part session here. This was just the first part here, and yeah, I think it has a good basis here, and looks like it's coming along. I hope that you guys decide to come back and follow along here. Part 2 should be coming out fairly soon. I do want to get this finished up, and I do have to learn on the fly here. I have to learn how to do some video editing and take the time to make sure this is presentable. I think quality for me is something I still need to obtain. It is hard for me because I have a hard time concentrating on certain things on a single task. But I will try my best to give you guys something that you will enjoy watching and that you will hopefully come back to enjoy as well. Again, this process for me, this whole art journey as a YouTuber. I never thought I'd be saying that to myself, that I'm going to be a YouTuber. Um, but this whole process, this whole journey, I think will be um, very good for me, and I'm hoping that it will be good for you, and that you take something out of it, even though I might not be, the next Rembrandt or some crazy artist. um, you can take something along with it. Again, more of this purpose is to just really set a level playing field to other creatives. I really want to be transparent with my progress. I don't want to just show the good. I do want to show you my mistakes. I think that's incredibly valuable to see in an artistic process. Seeing what you're not supposed to do and what it looks like if you do that. um, and I want to provide that to myself, but I also want to provide that to people who are creative and want to learn this process. Not my process, but the creative process. I think, I'm hoping at least, that this will present some comfort on that level, that somebody who's not very popular. I mean, I'm not terribly popular. I have friends and family that love the things that I do, but I'm not I'm not well known. But again, that's not the purpose. I really want you guys to see who I am as a creative, and again, just appreciate you taking the time to give me a chance to see what I'm all about. Again, just want to be as transparent as possible with the work that I do. I have a good sense of fundamentals, I would hope. I'm still working on that. I have gone back into a lot of traditional work, working from references, learning the science behind light. What a topic. Light. I'm hoping that I will do a video of my after I take my classes here of me attempting that and seeing what I've learned. I think that will be a fun video. That will be fun to kind of see where my thought process is, and what I decide to do, what I don't decide to do. That'll be great. So, what you just saw there, I did flip my canvas. I don't have a shortcut for that yet. I know that there's a way that you can do it. Again, a whole learning process here. But the reason that I do this is to kind of give myself a fresh eye. It really discombobulate. It really discombobulates your perception, and it gives you a fresh view of the composition that you're working on, and you can really see where things don't match up. I hate doing this sometimes too, because you'll flip it and everything's wrong. Your eyes are skewed or too far apart. One's too high, one's too low. Your nose is not in the right spot. Obviously, I'm referring to like portraiture and stuff like that, but flipping the canvas can be a nightmare. But again, I think that really helps present a fresh view as to what you need to fix. And I think that's incredibly valuable, and I hope that that's a good insight to maybe a process that you're not familiar with, but probably so if you're already watching this, if you know anything about art. Unlike me, I have a lot to learn. If you know anything about art, you already probably know that. So I'm probably going to stop here. I am getting into the fun bits of the armor. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here, and hope that you guys come back to kind of see part 2 and how far along I get. But as for now, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate you taking the time to see what I'm doing. And if you like it, give me a like. If you want to keep following along, you can go ahead and subscribe. I do have a Patreon, so if you're interested in seeing the progress of my graphic novel, what I'm doing outside of YouTube, I do post a lot of exclusive work on my video or on my Patreon, including a lot of traditional works as well. So support there would be um, it would be appreciated. It's not necessary. Um, I always feel bad for asking for support, but as a starving artist, I think it's essential for my livelihood. I do want to get to a point where I'm doing this full time and that I can really start producing work that I like to do. And yeah, I appreciate you again. I hope that you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one in part two.
Hi, Ding Dong. Are you being silly? Are you being a silly girl? Wow.